Turn heads and bring the hype with a custom hype chain from Lotwin. Perfect for youth sports, fantasy football, or just flexing your pride. Go to Lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD for 10% off your order. That's Lotwin.com, promo code TCCPOD for 10% off. Get your custom hype chain and get hype with Lotwin. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Phillies sports history for March 30th, 2026. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Monday edition of the podcast. Should have mentioned this last week, but this week the episodes will be slightly later in the morning. Spring break, dealing with the kids, trying to catch up on some sleep. So it will be slightly later, but let's go rewind the weekend like we do every Monday. Brought to you by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. They got you covered for all your Philly sports apparel needs. And some people had reached out over the weekend saying that the promo code was not working. I did work with Philly Goat, so that should be up and working now. So I apologize for the inconvenience. But let's start with the Phils. After all the excitement of opening day, not a good weekend for the Phils. Made it interesting on Saturday, losing 5-4 in 10 innings, but didn't really have many hits until late in that game and were aided by the wind on what should have ended the game. Aaron Nola seemed to be in midseason form, giving up 2 homers. And like I said, the bat, specifically the middle or the top of the order, didn't do anything. Duran sort of struggled slightly, but came in and did okay, I guess, but a little bit of concern there. That's 2 appearances where it was like, Crawford made an excellent catch in that game, but more of the same yesterday, losing 8-3. Luzardo gave up 2 homers, 1 to Brandon Nimmo, who, God, I hate Brandon Nimmo. Talk about a punchable face. But the top 3 in the order, Schwarber, Turner, and Harper, had 3 hits over the weekend. And one of the hits was a little bloop broken bat hit by Bryce Harper. So not going to get it done. Phillies go 0-2 over the weekend. Starting pitching, and it was weird because Nola settled in after he gave up some homer. Luzardo, apparently, it seemed like he made 2 bad pitches, but for the most part pitched well, but not a good start for the Phils. They welcome the Nationals for a 3-game series. Taijuan Walker tonight. Andrew Painter making his Major League debut tomorrow. And then Christopher Sanchez on the getaway Wednesday game. Some good news, though, as far as the pitching. Zach Wheeler pitched 3 scoreless innings up in the Lehigh Valley. So hopefully it's just a little glitch as we start this season, but not a good weekend to watch Phillies games whatsoever. And more came out on Friday about the Harry Kalas Phillies naming rights for Harry the K. And it added an interesting wrinkle to it because it did kind of seem as though there may have been some pushback from the family. But apparently Harry Kalas' widow feels betrayed that they would take the name. She has offered a compromise, something along the lines of Harry the K's at the Ghost Deck, or something like that, which I suggested. I feel like it's an easy fix. But I didn't know this. They would pay the family of Harry Kalas $20,000 to play the song. I think this is an easy move for the Phillies. It seems as though the dude from Philly that is one of the managing partners for Ghost Energy is willing to compromise. So make it right. And for the love of God, give the woman more than $20,000 for the use of the song. The song is sometimes the only reason I stay to the end of games. So there's that, but a lot going on with the Phillies. They play the Nationals tonight. And don't look now. Your team, your town, your 76ers 114 win over the Hornets. It was a fun game. Paul George, 26. Joe, 29. Tyrese Maxey was back and had 26. Joe with a big block late to seal the game. Maxey with a posterized dunk. I don't know. I'm just saying. You got 8 games left. They play the Heat tonight. They're only a game back of 5th, a half a game back of 6th. If Cleveland completely folds apart, number 4 isn't, it's mathematically possible. I'm just saying. It's back-to-back games now. Say what you want. Buckle up. It's going to be a good ride. Flyers did play 2 games over the weekend, beating the Red Wings 5-3 on Saturday. Owen Tippett with a hat trick. Dan Vladar with 32 saves, and then a good one yesterday. I was able to catch the second half of this. 2-1 win over the Stars in overtime. Trevor Zegras with the overtime winner. Travis Konechny also scored. Sam Ersson was solid in goal. And then the news early in the day yesterday. Help is on the way now that Michigan State is eliminated from the hockey tournament. I don't know if they call the whole thing the Frozen Four or just the Final Four. But either way, Michigan State was eliminated. Porter Martone signed yesterday. He could be playing as early as Tuesday night. Flyers only 2 points back in the wild card, 2 points back from the 3rd spot in the Metropolitan Division with 9 games left. Again, buckle up. It's going to be a fun little stretch run here for our winter sports teams. I mistakenly said the Union played Saturday on Friday's episode. They do not. They play this coming Saturday. Much needed week off for the Union. Eagles added some depth on the edge, signing Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. 1-year deal. Okay. Again, I do expect them to address this in the draft, but new Brotherly Birds breakdown is out. We talk about a little A.J. Brown as well as the beginning of free agency. That is available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. All right, so let's see what happened this weekend in Philly sports history. First, March 28th on Saturday in 1992, the greatest game possibly ever played in NCAA tournament history. Number 1 seed Duke versus number 2 seed Kentucky down at the old Spectrum. And it was for the East Regional. Duke wins it 104-103 in overtime when Christian Laettner hit the shot. Grant Hill, the length of the court pass. Laettner turned, dribbled, shot, score. But it does lead the question I will always wonder, why did Rick Pitino not put a man on Grant Hill to inbound that ball? The world may never know. Fast forward to 1999, and it was WrestleMania 15 at the FU Center. The main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin beat The Rock for the WWE Championship. May have been WWF at the time, but either way, Stone Cold beat The Rock. And in 2014, a sad day, Chip Kelly started his dismantling of the Eagles, releasing Deshaun Jackson a year after those guys put up ridiculous numbers. So, sad day indeed. And then on March 29th, 1973, Flyers beat the Atlanta Flames 4-2. Bobby Clark scored 2 goals, giving him 100 points on the season. He was the first player from an expansion team to score 100 points in a season. 1981, Flyers again, they beat the Whalers 4-1. Bobby Clark with his 700th career assist. Paul Holmgren also had 2 goals, giving him 100 for his career. More Flyers in 2001. Flyers lose to the Maple Leafs 2-1 at the FU Center. But the story was Chris Falcone fell into the penalty box and fought Ty Domi. This was all over the news. It's 25th anniversary. But Ty Domi was throwing water into the penalty box. He leaned over to say something. The glass collapsed. And the rest, as they say, is history. And then 2014, Sixers beat the Pistons 123-98, ending an NBA worst. Tied with I think it was the 10-11 Cleveland Cavaliers, ended a 26-game losing streak. Sheesh. And that is Rewind the Weekend, brought to you by Philly Goat. Go to phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order, and the promo code is working. All right, Friday's trivia question. I asked, who are the only Division I teams with the nickname the Hawks? That would be your St. Joe's Hawks, Hartford, Maryland Eastern Shore, and Monmouth University. Thank you to everybody who reached out. Monmouth was the one that everybody kind of seemed to get hung up on. And then a lot of people talking about the variations, like the Mountain Hawks, Red Hawks. But the only four with Hawks: Hartford, Maryland Eastern Shore, Monmouth, and St. Joe's. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. All right, March 30th. First, we're going to go back to 1974, and it was a great day for Bernie Parent. Flyers beat the Bruins 5-3 at the Spectrum. Ross Lonsberry, 2 goals and an assist. Bernie, though, 22 saves to pick up his 45th win of the season, setting the NHL record. He would finish the season with 47, and that record would stand for 33 years. It has now been broken by Martin Brodeur and Braden Holtby, but for 33 years, Bernie was the number one goalie for wins in a season. It was also his 100th game he won as a member of the Flyers, first Flyer to get to that. He is now currently number 2 on that list, and that leads us directly into today's trivia question. 3 Flyers goalies have won 100 games or more with the team. Bernie Parent is one. Who are the other 2? Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line, 267-495-8531, or the Discord channel, which is in the description. But who are the 3 Flyers goalies to have 100 wins in their career with the team? All right, fast forward 10 years later, more Flyers. They beat the Devils in New Jersey 6-2. Bobby Clarke with a goal and 2 assists. The goal was number 358 for his career and was the final regular season goal from Bobby Clarke as a member of the Flyer. Ilka Sinisalo also had 2 goals for the Flyers, who had 1 game left in the regular season and then were swept in the playoffs by the Washington Capitals. Fast forward to 2001, Sixers beat the Warriors 102-89. Allen Iverson with 35 points, 11 rebounds, and 1 assist shy of messing around and getting a triple-double. Tyrone Hill added 21, but the story was at halftime. The Sixers retired Charles Barkley's number 34. Lots of old players came back. There was a special, it's one of my things I always like to joke around about. Technically, I saw Kenny Rogers in concert, who came out and sang Through the Years live to Charles Barkley. Apparently, the 2 of them were best friends. I was there with my buddy Hoppy and a few of his brothers, and all of a sudden they were introducing all these people from Charles Barkley's career coming out. We were thinking, all right, Michael Jordan, who are they going to say? Because they said, now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. And Kenny Rogers comes out and serenades Charles Barkley live. Pretty cool moment, though, I will say. But Barkley's number 34 was retired on this day. And then fast forward to 2019. I still laugh about it because it was just, it was cool to see Barkley get his number retired. But then it was like, oh, no Michael Jordan. It's Kenny Rogers. But, it's cool experience anyway. 19. Phillies beat the Braves 8-6 in the second game of the season. JT Realmuto went deep to give the Phillies a 6-4 lead. Maikel Franco homered, and Bryce Harper added an insurance run in the 7th with a blast to right center. His first hit and first home run as a member of the Phillies, as the Phillies win it 8-6. Thanks in part to Bryce's home run to put them up 7-4. We need some more of that from you this year, Bryce. We need some more of that from you this year. And then finally today, our Women's History Month Spotlight. Every journey begins somewhere. For these women, it started in Philly whether it was on the playgrounds, the rec centers, high school gyms, college gyms, and all led to the WNBA. Today we're going to spotlight Lucy Olsen from Collegeville, a Springford High graduate. She graduated as their all-time leading scorer and assist leader. She was two-time All-PA, Miss Pennsylvania basketball as a senior. Also was a state champion tennis player. She went to Villanova, and all she did was become All Big East, Big Five Player of the Year. Transferred the end of her college career to Iowa, where she was All Big Ten, which led her to be drafted in the second round, number 23 overall by the Washington Mystics. She played all 41 games last year as a rookie. Also played in the WNBA in Australia, where she won the title and was Sixth Woman of the Year. So from Philly to Collegeville, or Philly, in this case Collegeville, to Villanova, to the WNBA, we celebrate the journey, even if it's just getting started. Lucy Olsen, 2025 draft pick of the Mystics. Looking forward to a great career. Got to the WNBA by way of Villanova and Collegeville. So we salute you. And we have one more spotlight for the end of the month. And then in April, we're going to do something with first impressions. Some people who we were wrong about, some people who we were right about, and some people who knocked our socks off. On this day in 2019, Phils beat the Braves 8-6. Bryce Harper with his first hit, a blast in the seventh inning, a home run, as the Phillies, we were excited about the potential of what we had. Little did we know, here we are. How many ever years later? 7 years later, still looking for that elusive World Series. Sixers retired Charles Barkley's number 34 on this day in 2001. Bobby Clark scores his final regular season goal on this day in 1984. And Bernie Parent had himself a day, winning his 45th game of the season, an NHL record that stood for 33 years. We'll have more on the Phillies, Sixers, as they Phillies look to bounce back. Sixers look to move up those standings. And I'm telling you, you can hate on me all you want. Hate, but I'm in. I am in. We'll also have Tuesday Motivation Positivity tomorrow. Remember, we will be a little bit later as I'm trying to recover my body from it's been a hectic 3-month sprint here for me. So looking forward to relaxing, but they still will all be up by probably 9 o'clock anyway. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for March 30th, 2026. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Monday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.